Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I am an instructional associate at the Northwest campus in the Science Learning Center, and I am co-chair of the Student Retention NWISE team. And here's Zamar.
Hello, my name is Zamar. I am an instructional associate at Northwest in the Academic Learning Center, the Writing Lab, if you will, Writing Center, and I am the other co-chair for the Student Retention NWISE team.
I'm so glad you asked, Andrew. So, a few years ago, at the Northwest campus, there was a movement for faculty and staff to get more involved on the campus, making maybe some smaller decisions or planning events. So they created NWISE teams. So you get the Northwest in there with the NW, um, and it ranges from the effective use of technology to student internships to us student retention, and they're groups composed of faculty and staff, and they have some liberty to do events like Gaming for Change, which is what we'll be talking about today. Do you have anything to add to that, Zamor?
No, that was pretty comprehensive,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah, I think it sounded
yeah,
pretty good.
cool. So the format today will be mostly I'm going to be asking some more questions to draw out um, the information about student retention and gaming for change and how video games help shape the community. So if anybody has any questions at any time, please pop them in the chat. And uh, unless there's anything else to say, I think we can get started. Cool. So how did Gaming for Change come about?
So the Gaming for Change program is not a native Northwest thing. So Dr. Quijano, Dr. Johansson Quijano, kind of had this set up at TR, Trinity River campus,
Hmm.
and it was designed to bring in all members of the community as kind of like, I guess a mixing ground or whatnot. So you'd have students, staff, faculty, you have the community members, and the other part of it was to as well as differently abled individuals as well to come in and basically all participate in this community building endeavor. Um, and then last, not last, the year before last, I guess it's been 2 years, like November. Uh, yeah, yeah, a couple years ago, November, they brought it over to Northwest. We had a physical Gaming for Change event, and we had some MHMR, we had some community members, we had students, we had some staff and faculty, and that was, very open, lots of communication, and I believe that some greater understanding was built, and then of course, with COVID, we kind of had to
Of,
migrate.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I was really busy at the time when Gaming for Change happened, so I was interested in what it was about, and from what I can remember, there was a lot of pizza involved um, that day. So you said it was open to the community. How did you market that? Did a lot of people outside of Tarrant County College come in? Did you see a lot of interaction with the community from that?
So we didn't keep like a strictly stats of like community members and all of
Sure.
that jazz. I did see, some people that had, self-identified as like, hey, I'm from the community. Hey, I'm not really, here, but I'm here to have like a good time or whatnot.
Sure.
Um, and there were a few students that had stated that they just brought, like their friends in to see what was
Okay.
going on.
That's cool.
So
Yeah, that's word of mouth speaks wonders when it comes to community engagement and getting people that may be interested in community college in and seeing, hey, look, this is a really fresh, hip, lit, on fire place, whatever the terminology is now. So, so for Gaming for Change, were there prizes? Have there, and what kind of prizes were offered?
Oh, so I'm not. I mean, I won't come out and start talking about how the prizes were completely out of hand, but there definitely were prizes.
Yeah,
Um, and so this is we had so the student so the school has a budget, right? And so
hmm
the school kicked in some of its budget to contribute some of these prizes, gift cards, and then I'll kind of walk you through both Gaming for Change events and how that works. So the first one
sure,
was a little more of a free for all. um, we had sponsors officially, I know, from GameStop, and I think there were some other smaller sponsors that I wasn't, I guess, really aware of at the time. But GameStop, we got some games, merch, so like Funko Pops, socks,
yeah.
board games, that sort of thing. Um, and then the school kicked in for like gift cards, Amazon gift cards,
Oh wow.
blank. Well, the first time was kind of just a blank gift card situation, just a free gift card. Go do what you want with it.
hmm
Um, and then for the second, this most recent event last year, with doing it online, this if you were a student, you were eligible for the entire gamut of possible prizes. So that would be like Amazon gift cards, any merch that we had. And we also had a local contributor from Stroud's Auto Supply as well, and they also gave out gift cards if you were a staff member, faculty, or that sort of thing. You were ineligible for just money, but you were still able to get some of the other gifts that we had. And of course, we recycled some gifts. So not all the
Yeah,
prizes, were left over.
sure.
So we brought those in.
That makes sense. So you mentioned GameStop and Strahd's Auto,
Yes.
and were there any other particular partners?
Um, from what I can recall, no, but we have been in contact with Microsoft.
Yeah,
And we've been trying to see if they can assist, what they can do, um, and a few other things. I guess I'll talk a little bit about some stuff that Microsoft does a little
hmm
bit later.
sure,
But
sure. And then what kind of range of games have you offered in person and then for the online tournament?
so the range of games that we started with, I guess like the board voted, and so we were thinking like, what can we do that's competitive and that's fun? So we've been using Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and
hmm
then the first time we did it, we did Street Fighter 5, and then the second
hmm
time around, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and then we almost did 2K, and we were considering FIFA, and then we stuck with in Tekken, and we stuck with Street Fighter again. Um, However, that may or may not change depending on like sponsorship involvement, uh,
Sure.
and connecting to the wider world of esports.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of PC gaming that lends itself well to esports that we may focus on. Um, and how did you track the tournament? Um, what kind of tools were
You say,
available?
are you talking
Like the brackets.
ah, we use the Challenge web
hmm
app, um, for flexibility, ease of use. There's many others out there that could have been used, but I think we'll be sticking with Challenge. If anybody wants to run an online tournament, I suggest checking out Challenge as well.
Yeah, and I popped the name in the chat there. When I first heard it, I was like, throat lozenge? What was, oh, challenge? Okay. But from being a volunteer for that, challenge was very easy to work with. Um, and the fact that it was open, once you registered, you could always go back and see, who am I paired against? How many people are there? Um, it kind of it lit some hype under there. It helped the hype train um, start chugging along the tracks. Um, so so we talked about what kind of games we're looking at in the future. Um, how did the team react to it being virtual this last year?
I think the team responded, very well. Like I said, you were in the volunteer,
It was.
uh, so you had, your hands in the pie,
Hmm.
and I think it turned out, pretty tasty pie.
It was.
Of course, we had some complications here and there, um, with some of the bracket settings,
Hmm.
and that was ironed out by individual members. Uh, and that's something definitely that's worth testing prior in some way, shape, or form. If you have to tear down the bracket and rebuild it, it's worth it. But
Yeah.
first online tournament, technical difficulties.
What was the hardest problem that occurred? What was the most challenging?
The biggest issue was, uh, if you set up. So after we had everyone getting registered, once everyone was registered, then it was, and this is going to fall on me. I set the brackets up with some settings that I thought would be good for the tournament, the people who are running the tournament,
Hmm.
you, Sarah, Dr. Quijano, and I could not defeat those settings without like redoing the entire bracket, which for a few forced kind of the hand bracket situation. Um, and that was really the hardest part as far as connectivity was concerned. As far as having people in and on time, there
Hmm.
was not a real issue. Getting registered, um, I mentioned was kind of a problem, but in the end it wasn't. It was just a case of, all right, we're going to put the tournament on hold for 10 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and make sure people are here.
Hmm.
So very smooth, other than personal bungles.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I really liked, once the student registered, and they registered on Challenge, you set up a Discord for each game, and the students would then register for the Discord, and that was compulsory. So we had a very easy time pinging everybody saying, hey, it's December 1st. You need to check in. Check-in starts December 3rd for the tournament on December 5th. And I think that really helped keep that momentum going. If a student signs up for something, there's still a chance that they're going to flake, or something comes up, or they forget. I know I've forgotten things in the past. So using Discord and having those prior opportunities, and that almost constant communication. If somebody had a question, they post on Discord, the moderator, boom, answered. Um,
Oh, to piggyback on that, right? So I don't know how many people here are using Discord or have used Discord. It's like it's a message board, chat
mhm,
room. So people are still kind of keeping up, the communication between each other. So we're getting, little bits of trash talk. We're getting students from who had done the prior Gaming for Change who were in there talking about their experience from it before. Um, we're getting free flowing feedback from the mods to the students, just like regular conversation. So yeah, and one other thing, uh, the website, like the Google site prior to that, that was also set up. That was a
yes.
gathering place.
Hmm. Yeah, we can. If you have access to Google Drive, which all TCC students and staff and faculty should, you can create a little site that's pretty easy to use, really, and to set up and bring in forms or PowerPoints and that kind of thing. Um, so to get the word out about the website and signing up and everything, what kind of tactics did you use?
Well, we had a registration list from before, and
Hmm.
so all the students that were there, kind of email blasted that out. We also sent out email blast, I think, just to NW, I mean
Hmm.
to the campuses. Hey, we're doing a thing. We're doing it on this day. Come be a part of the party. Um, and when we first did Gaming for Change, we asked, well, Northwest, we asked the professors, right,
Hmm.
to help talk to the students about it and that sort of thing. Um, and that happened this year, but being virtual, I don't think that the was as impactful as it could have been.
Yeah, yeah. The reaching students virtually, like you can put the information out there. You don't know if they're going to read it. Um, did you put up flyers too, for the in-person? 2019?
I believe we did put up flyers. We had, flyers just scattered throughout.
Yeah.
And if you participated, you got some, we had t-shirts made up for you. Just come grab a t-shirt, little lanyards, cool lanyards, that sort of thing. So it wasn't, it's all good.
Cool. Cool. Um, and then do you remember how many students you were able to reach for the 2019 and the 2020?
2019, we had, I think, 100 and some odd participants across all games, like 110, 120.
Wow.
And then students that just came into the library to participate and just be a part of the festivities was almost 200. So like this is gaming for a change. We are talking about games and tournaments, but since we were on campus at the time, we also had just kind of an open space. You could come in and play, D&D or Magic, trading card games, or meal around, eat pizza. So it's kind of just a, the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I can't find it, but that. And then for the virtual tournament, we had 60, 70 people, I think, all around for participation. So pretty solid turnout, I think, on both cases.
Sure.
And yeah, I think that would...
I had a question and I lost it. I'm trying to find it. Let's go back to partners. I know for this last year, there was a joint effort with the University of Texas at Dallas. Can you talk more about that? Was that...
So getting into, I guess, this joint effort. So UTD and I think maybe UNT and a few other campuses are a part of this, and we've been trying to get in contact and kind of set up a Texas campus gaming for change thing where we basically take the top X number of people and they can just kind of go to the other campus, either represent Northwest or be a part of it.
Right.
We haven't quite pulled that into fruition, but it has been something that's constantly been on the back burner, something to do. And we'll see. And that may be a case of possibly game change. We might have to change our games to fit with that. Speaking of changing games, like we were talking to the Microsoft, rep, and he was talking about some of the games that are maybe more involved in, I say esports, but games that might be more accessible to people in general, right? So instead of Street Fighter, Rocket League.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that. And so we'll have to kind of get all of the selections in sync with each campus before we can truly mesh.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. For the 2019, was there any kind of streaming that happened during it so that those who couldn't participate in person could still watch?
So in 2019, no streaming. It was all got to be there to see the action. In 2020, however, if we did have streaming capacity, we did let streaming happen. Streaming was a big deal, right? Because you want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
I know that for Mario Kart, unfortunately, we couldn't get any streaming set up, but as you are aware, Smash Brothers and Street Fighter, we were able to have a streaming set up and see what was going on there. So if you lost, you could hang around and see what was going on. If you had some people who wanted to watch, you could invite them and they could watch. And I think going forward, we will try to get, even if we physically, we'll try to have some kind of streaming.
Yeah. I always enjoy, I've been getting more into watching some streamers, and I enjoy being able to clip or seeing the interaction or just watching cool games. Yeah, we jerry rigged the Smash Bros to go off of a cell phone, and we had 4 to 7 viewers at any given time. We streamed, I think there were 4 rounds in the tournament, and we streamed all 4, and more people watched the top two duke it out.
Okay.
Well, we also had the losers, so there were five. Yeah, it worked out. It was definitely jerry rigged, but it was our only option. So um, that'll be different for this December, assuming it happens in December.
Uh, well, generally we aim for um before before
Hmm.
midterm before Thanksgiving break, after midterms.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. And we'll see if we're on campus or not. Um, so let's talk more about the team behind it. How many people are so for each game there was a Discord and there were moderators and bracketeers. How many do you think is ideal for that kind of situation?
I think the amount we had was sufficient. I think it
Yeah.
was what, two, and then like overall 4 or 5 moderators, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, it's less of a case of the amount of people and more of a case of, do these people know how to use these
Hmm.
methods, right? Are you
Right.
are you cool with Discord? Can you navigate using, the game of your choice, the system that you are, hosting or whatnot, if we're doing virtual,
Hmm.
and if the answer is yes and yes, then you don't really need that many people. 2 people to moderate Discord, I think is almost too many, because you have the
Yeah.
bracketeer as well. Um,
Yeah.
and then, a person or two to, head up on the stream or something. Yeah. So what, 3, 4?
Yeah. Makes sense to me. It's so there were moderators, bracketeers, and then ideally we'd have people specifically for streaming. Yeah. Um,
So the official setup that we had, right, was we had a streamer, a bracketeer, a game host, and then we had an additional moderator. So the bracketeer and a moderator functioned, part bracketeer, half mod, moderator
yeah.
full mod, and
Right.
then yeah.
And and what are some things you would suggest to do differently if it was online again this year?
Um, well, if we are going online, I would, suggest getting the word out sooner.
Hmm.
I would also suggest, a little more training. I don't like using the word training because it's Discord and it's the bracket thing, but some training for those.
Hmm.
Um, and the streaming situation, go ahead and, kind of get that bit ironed out prior. Twitch and YouTube did some weird stuff, right? Like Twitch used to be cool on the PlayStation, and then it wasn't, I guess. I don't know if they pulled that, and so that made things a little difficult. So it was YouTube streaming only. Um, and so that kind of stuff we would definitely like to have hashed out
Oh, interesting. I
before.
I was looking at that a couple months ago, and it was on my PlayStation.
It might
So
it might
it may
still
have.
be. I heard reports.
You heard report. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So start earlier. Iron more of the technical potential issues out. Um, get the team comfortable with the technology and websites. Sounds like a solid plan. Um,
Pretty basic stuff. I mean, and
yeah,
even with how it went, Discord's pretty intuitive.
that's true.
It's not a mess. Those guys, they did a good job. The team over there was pretty solid at Discord. So, thanks to them. Um,
Yeah,
and challenge is also pretty straightforward.
that's true. Yeah. So if there are any more questions from those here, feel free to pop them in the chat. Um, that was all I had. Is there anything else you'd like to mention or discuss, Amar?
Um, Not so much. One
Yeah.
of the things I think is, I guess, the timing. So
That's right.
we have right, we have our NWISE team, and we spend a good chunk. And like I said, as mentioned earlier, before Thanksgiving break, because we don't want to have the clashing of students and break, but after
Mhm.
midterms. If you get too close to December, you get too close to finals, then nobody shows up.
Right.
And I think that was part of the issue here as
Hmm.
well, because we had placed this one December, right? Like after Thanksgiving break, I believe. I think it was like December 5th
Yeah.
or something.
It
Yeah.
was the weekend after. Was it the weekend after? Yeah. Yeah. Weekend after Thanksgiving break.
And that may have poo-pooed on, because you have a lot of things to keep track of at that time, right? You
Yeah.
got,
And the next week was finals. So
yeah. So this year, October, we're gonna
yeah,
land that one. We're gonna land that in October, uh, and that should help a great deal.
for
Um,
sure.
but one of the things I think we've been talking about this Gaming for Change event, but I don't think we've officially gotten into the student retention part
That's
of
true.
uh,
That's true.
of the whole thing. Um, and like when we did the the physical event, we had a fair amount of faculty members, staff members running around. We had got the library in for volunteers. We had some staff, that actually competed. We had, of course, staff just milling through, asking questions, talking, and I think like that kind of thing helps if you will break down the
Hmm.
barriers.
Hmm.
If you sit down to play Mario Kart and there's somebody you see from the writing center is like you're like, oh, I'm up against you. Um, so it helps to see for students to see us outside of our element,
Yeah.
just being a human.
Creates that personable interconnectivity. Um, yeah, I don't know how my student experience would have changed if I had felt more relaxed around my professors or other staff members. That's a fascinating facet to look at. Uh, and I know for this last one we started around 10:30.
Mhm.
Was that the case for the 2019 as well?
Yeah, we tried to go back and think about, all right, well, how early do I want to wake up on a weekend or whatnot? And
Right.
yeah, 11 was a little late, 10 was too early, so 10:30
Yeah.
was the time.
10:30. That's good. Yeah. It's an optimal time. Um,
And uh, in the 10:30, thinking about the student faculty situation, uh, in addition to seeing the faculty, it's kind of just out and about.
mhm.
Um, other connections like could be built, right? So I um, uh, kind of okay at Street Fighter or whatever, students. So I remember I had a moment where a student used the character and was like, "Oh, you're pretty solid. How do where can I go? What can I do to improve or whatnot?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you can do X, Y, or Z. You can go here. You can do this. Here's a link to this other Discord that you've not heard of." Or whatever, but you can go here for this and that sort of stuff. And that same thing could happen, anywhere. So you also kind of, instead of being here, you definitely come down here, right? Like if you were on
Right.
Smash and there was someone saying, "Oh, how do I learn how to do the Smash combo?" Or where can I go to improve? And then you are the one to give them that information. Um, you're cool. Now you're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Sure.
true. Yeah, cooler. Yeah. And how do you think events like these affect student retention in other ways?
Uh, I mean, of course, feel free to chime in, but I think that knowing that this sort of event is on the horizon,
Hmm.
helps kind of take away some of the oppressive school march
That's
class
true.
march that happens. I think that knowing that, like I said, I'm a tutor in the writing center, right? So I think that knowing that you're the tutor that you've been talking to about this paper you've been working on for, like your midterms for a few weeks or whatever, that you might see so and so dabbling in Mario Kart or something at the tournament helps keeps things somewhat lighthearted the
Yeah.
closer it gets. And if you're happy to see people,
Hmm.
on where you are, generally speaking, I think you want to leave a little less. It also lends an air to our encouragement. Hey, don't. I'm sorry, you're having a bad time. I know this class is rough or whatever. Let me help you out, or talk to your professor, or hang around. But don't forget, you can also come, later
Yeah.
and just do this thing and just take a load off.
Yeah. De-stress. Put another reason to go up to campus and be on campus for fun, and see campus as a fun place to be. Um, which Northwest Campus, as well as Trinity, are in really beautiful locations. Um,
Um,
yeah.
so and we've been, Alex and I have been prattling on back and forth or anything. Anybody want to, you know, you can ask a question in the chat, or you can, ask via if your mic is on. Love to hear your voice. Um,
I don't know if we turned on that option for him.
I don't know if we did either.
I just changed the setting. So if someone
Okay.
has a question or a comment, you are free to unmute yourself and talk to Alex and Samar.
That's right, Andrew. It really does allow staff and students to build connections like that.
And just out there, there is research that says the more involved, you know, staff and whatnot are with the student body, the higher the retention rates, just in general, So,
Yeah, and this is definitely a part of that. Events like these. I don't know if there are. I know there's Earth Day is usually a pretty big affair. Are there other events at Northwest Campus or that you know of anywhere else that are similar in scope?
For just like big campus wide, just hey, the campus is kind of doing a thing off the top of my
Yeah,
head. I am not too clear. I'm kind of new to Northwest,
sure.
so I wasn't, I'm not totally privy to all of that. I do
Mhm.
know that the other clubs also put on events and the like that are kind of just open, right? Like Nintendo
Yeah.
Club, I think, does a little Smash tournament sometimes and that sort of thing. And then you've got the national, not the NA, not the Honor Society, the maybe SGA, I don't know, the one of those. They do a thing as well, and we partner with them. Come
I
on,
know
volunteer, we'll lend.
horticulture does a plant sale that has a lot of people come up for plants that they've grown. Really nice plants. I don't know what
That's
it's not quite a
No, it's fantastic. I totally
it
forgot about the horticultural
yeah
plants.
yeah it's a really nice atmosphere. They set up Northwest Campus has a very long drive. It's not, I mean, you can't really drive on it, but it's a nice long walk of concrete up to the biggest building there in the center, and they set up plants on both sides of there and all sorts of plants. And the Earth Day they have a 5K run, a fun run, frisbee golf tournament, and then they have a bunch of vendors come in and a DJ. Um, and you can talk about the environment. And I think they had tacos last year in person, and you get a shirt and that kind of thing. So events like these definitely increase student retention.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
I'm actually like I've already graduated from college and all
Sure.
that. Um, actually, one of my friends and I, we're actually working on building an esports team at the moment,
Oh wow.
and we're looking to kind of get into it at the level of being like more of like a kind of a go-between like the collegiate scene and like the higher up like the franchise leagues and stuff.
hmm
Do you guys have kind of do like for the different games like can compete? So like um teams like myself would be able, like for scouting events almost.
You kind of cut out there in the middle after you said, "Do you have?" Can you repeat the?
Okay. Do you guys have events
Oh
like
man, did it
those
cut out?
different esports tournament events where like
We I, so do we have different esports events um, for various games?
yeah, or like tournaments, or do you guys have teams that like opportunities for collegiate level players to get scouted by professional teams?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's actually something that has it's backroom chatter.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hinting at that, talking about game selection and that sort of thing, because it's for esports, it's kind of what is being played and how can we represent that through the campus,
Mhm.
and who has esports programs that we can lock into or create something of a pipeline or whatnot, if you will, for various places, right? And so the games we've chosen were these are basically one-on-one competitive games, whereas kind of the trend in esports is teams of some sort, 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, and so while Gaming for Change is its own thing, there has been talk about kind of setting up the second part
Mhm.
for the esports. So currently, the answer to your question is no. We don't have that like capacity, that program set up. But it is something that's been murmured about, and of course that requires bureaucratic forces to become
Right.
real. But if it's something that if you are interested in, um, definitely keep an eye out for these kinds of events, and bring your perspective, because
Yeah.
we'd like to hear it. We'd like to get it to others, the people who can actually do something about it and try to turn that into a real thing.
And I'd like to add, while Gaming for Change isn't really focused on esports or teams, I see it as an opportunity for you to come as a team and play the individual things, see how you're doing, win prizes, because for you that's the incentive, right? Is to see how you're doing and to win prizes. For us, if we have members of the community that are coming and they're you know we see that they're on a team, we can take that to the higher ups and say, hey, look, we had people that there's interest in the community for this kind of thing, and that'll spur more and more growth. So while that's not immediately available, if you keep on that, you could be a real help in the community for getting stuff like that done. I know that the backroom chatter has talked about UTA. I don't know how familiar you are with their esports situation. I'm not very familiar. I know that they have a designated. I don't
I
even know
know they
what to
have a
call it.
team.
Yeah,
That's
they have a team. I think they have a dedicated training space for them now. And is there an esports arena in Arlington, or is that going to be
No,
built?
it's there.
yeah.
It's
There's an
built.
esports stadium.
It's serious business.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I've actually seen UTA's Counter-Strike team in a show match for one of the big Counter-Strike events. They played LSU in
wow.
the day before the finals in a little show match.
Did they win?
LSU won. LSU has been the champs
Uh,
for collegiate CS for a while, and I've seen them play 3 show matches, and they've won all 3 of them that I have
Wow.
seen.
Yeah. So from what I understand is that the higher ups are looking at UTA and saying, oh hey, this is serious. We could get in on this and get more community in because there are people who want to be esports players or streamers, or they want, and part of the for on the website for Gaming for Change, we had a little section about UTD because UTD offers, is it game design as a degree?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's all interconnected, and it's an exciting time to be into that, to be into video games and esports specifically, and DFW continues to grow. Um, yeah, so I you know, when it comes to October, set a reminder, reach out, see if you can join in Gaming for Change. Come talk to us in person if we're in person, or on Discord if we're on Discord. Um, but yeah, that's great. That's cool that you got a team going.
All right. Yeah, we'll definitely. I'll take this to my other partner that's working on it with me, and it's
Sure. What games are y'all thinking of focusing on?
we don't have any games picked out at the moment.
Okay.
We're probably like more in that 3v3 space or the 4v4s
Sure.
or lower, because once you start getting that 5-on-5, 6v6, bigger teams like getting that naming players signed and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, was it, what is this game? The one where you get the team of 3 going in and it's a big arena, and you have other teams of 2 or 3.
Oh, Apex?
Yeah, Apex.
Okay.
Apex just
Apex?
Apex is launching on Switch, and that makes it even more accessible. So it might be maybe not this Gaming for Change or this event, but in future events that could be even more accessible.
Other ones in the docket.
Yeah. So thank you for
Do you guys
for
have
letting us
a
know.
All right. Yeah, do you guys have a website for the Gaming for Change stuff, or
We don't have a standing website at the moment.
Yeah.
We had a Google site. Like I said, for last year. We'll probably create another one, because this hasn't, I don't know how to say, this hasn't turned into strictly Northwest's thing. We do work with Trinity River as well, and there's some back and forth. I can drop my email into the chat, and you can.
do you guys work with Q?
Yes.
Okay, because I actually have his contact info
Okay. Yeah. So he's
at a couple events so far.
Okay, yeah, technically he's point man is the official, if you write it down in a document. But yeah, if you already have his contact information, then you're pretty much locked and ready to go, because he's on the NY's team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I will get in touch with him and try to figure it all out.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks
All
for
right.
the questions.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else? I'm almost out of words.
I can talk about an economic team-based paradigm that's shifting. If there's nothing else to say that I think would be interesting to apply to esports.
I don't.
But that's not really student retention or Gaming for Change.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I guess, if that's kind of the business, that's the business. I'll throw my email in the chat. If you have any other questions. you can reach out to me, and I can point you towards, other sources if need be. Dr. Q.
And thank you all so much for attending.